What happens to people who have a dream of getting rich? Unless you were born into a wealthy family, you have probably ever dreamed of getting rich. And a lot of wealth, with all the attendant trappings, a country house with a perfect lawn and swimming pool, an expensive car, a private jet and a lot of cash, so you can afford it all. But does sudden wealth bring people happiness? Money changes lifestyles, sometimes for the better, sometimes not. Wealth shows the true essence of a person. Money usually emphasizes major character traits. If you are greedy, then wealth will probably make you even greedier. But if you have a purpose and a meaning in life that is not limited to the pursuit of chocolate diamonds, money can give you the freedom to do the things that really matter to you. The rich also cry. The negative aspects of wealth can outweigh the positive aspects. When people hear that, they think, "I wish I had your problems." Most people think that the rich live in nirvana and are not allowed to have any human needs or emotions. You remain an ordinary person, but they don't see you that way anymore. Next, problems with family and friends can begin. A lot of people will want something from you now, and it's not always easy to know why people are nice and kind to you. Because they like you, or because of money. And if you're not married yet, then you can spend the rest of your life wondering who your significant other loves, you or your money. You may never know. But most people agree that being rich, despite the problems that come with it, makes life easier. There is such a concept in psychology. Sudden wealth syndrome. In short, after receiving an impressive inheritance or winning the lottery, a person faces problems that lead him to a dead end. How to move to a new status of rich people? Do I have to change my social circle? Where do I find my equals? Does it make sense to keep going to work and to take the children to free school? Sometimes, by addressing these questions, a person radically changes their life and loses their identity and loved ones. So there is as much danger as there is joy in the millions that are suddenly dumped on you. One can try to learn from the story of Sandy Stein, who, after working as a flight attendant for more than 30 years, suddenly stumbled upon a gold mine. Now Sandy is 65. When she was 53 years old, she invented a special keychain that attaches to her bag and allows her to quickly get her keys out without wasting time looking for them. That same year she bought a luxury car, paying cash for it, and for the first time hired several assistants, and the combined income from sales of her invention totaled $4 million. It was a development she could only have dreamed of. But to her surprise, along with good fortune came loneliness. Her marriage fell apart, she said. Her husband was used to be the main breadwinner in the family and took her sudden success very painfully. Relationships with many friends also deteriorated. Out of jealousy, a person can do a terrible thing or say nasty things, she says now. Few people will give up dreams of financial prosperity, but those people whose wishes have already come true say it can cause people to turn on you. When wealth suddenly falls on a person, their life changes dramatically. For some people, this psychological experience can be very painful. You also have to deal with feelings of loneliness and hopelessness. Relationship failures. Many of us have been thinking and dreaming about wealth for years. But when it finally comes, we are often unprepared for the sudden change in the behavior of those close to us. After all, it's not something we often think about, and when friends begin to drift away, or, conversely, suddenly become overly attentive, and family members suddenly begin to meddle in your financial affairs or take more interest in your life, it can come as a shock to you. All this, it happens amazingly fast. And it's hard to cope with it. At the same time, money changes people. Sometimes newly rich people, without realizing it themselves, begin to squander money or dramatically change their interests, which can be the beginning of a rift with both old friends and colleagues. Friends may not want to adapt to the changes caused by your unexpected wealth and will gradually drift away from you, further exacerbating feelings of loneliness. The hardest thing to control is the reaction of friends and relatives. Often unfamiliar people begin to reach out to newly rich people. Friends and family members try to strengthen ties with the person they consider successful. How would you feel if your loved ones suddenly changed their attitude toward you? Most of us would suspect something was wrong. Where were these friends and distant relatives while you were working hard at your job or staying up nights developing your business? It's only natural to detach yourself from random people and limit your social circle. Their world gets very tight, and they try to maintain friendships with those who are financially equal to them. This feeling doesn't always go away after you get used to your new position. It becomes more and more difficult to know who genuinely wants to be friends with you. Most often sudden wealth falls on lovers of buying lottery tickets. Among their ranks was an American Larry Ross, who won a phenomenal sum of $131 million in 2000. The win could have been twice as much, but Larry shared it with another lucky man who wished to remain incognito. Larry later said that he bought the lucky lottery ticket completely by accident. There was no change in the hot dog stand, and the resourceful salesman handed the buyer a bundle of tickets. Another amazing story happened to Norwegian student Christopher Koch. In 2009, while doing an essay on cryptocurrencies, he decided to illustrate it with real bitcoins and bought 1,500 bitcoins for about $25. Christopher forgot about his fateful purchase for a long time until he saw a note in the newspaper in 2013 that Bitcoin surged in value, reaching record highs. So overnight, an ordinary student became practically a dollar millionaire, earning $886,000. Stories of people who got rich on bitcoins are not uncommon. But such large sums are not found every day. The Peletier brothers, on the other hand, got their millions in a different, no less fabulous way. They had been living in the back of Budapest in a slum until one day in 2009 when they learned of the death of their German grandmother, who had over $4 million in her account. The brothers were the only heirs, so they took the first train to Germany to formalize their inheritance. Wealth fell on the brothers when they were over 40. The first thing they bought with that money was a new house. It is also possible to make millions by honest work. For example, one of the most influential businessmen, an Asian billionaire Nina Wang, left most of the multi-million-dollar fortune, $4 billion, his personal master of Feng Shui, Tony Chanu, who on top of that dealt with many years of litigation Nina Wang. And it was thanks to him Nina did not abandon the seemingly hopeless litigation. Tony Chan entered into an inheritance in 2007. Interestingly, Nina left nothing to her closest relatives. Luck smiled on a homeless Italian cat who was once adopted by an old lady named Maria Assunta, the owner of real estate, land all over Italy, and an impressive bank account. Maria gave the cat the nickname Tomasino, and before she died, she bequeathed him all of her multi-million-dollar fortune, as she was lonely. Of course, the cat has no idea that he is a millionaire. However, his finances are managed by the former nurse of the dead old lady and faithfully takes care of the cat, spoiling him with various meat delicacies. It is impossible to give up money. Wealth itself is not worth it. But once you've got it, you can't give it up.